G'day cocktail lovers, I hope you've been keeping well. Hope everything's, you got some, normal's the wrong word these days, isn't it? As I shoot this, I don't know, someone might watch this well into the future. As I shoot this, more places around the world are going into lockdown across Europe, and it's probably going to start happening in the US. Here where I live in Melbourne, we just came out of an extended lockdown and we're getting more and more frequent as day goes by. But I am actually a cautious type. While I could actually go out to some venues now, I'm going to give it a little while. I'm going to give it a couple of weeks. The day I'm shooting this, Australia-wide, there was not a single new case of community transmission of COVID-19. And this is the 1st of November as I shoot this. That hadn't happened since June, so that's a real milestone. No community transmission at all across the entire country. Pretty good. Not to, again, I worry because I worry some places in the world are getting it very bad, and that might sound like I'm gloating. What I'm saying is you can come through it. Hopefully, wherever you are, the right decisions get made, and you do get through it. But also what I'm saying is I'm still at home making cocktails rather than going out and having cocktails. And as I look for landmarks, events maybe, that I can theme cocktails around, Halloween was fun. I saw so many people online making Halloween cocktails. It was excellent to see. But this weekend is actually Harvey Wallbanger Day. So many drinks and beverages have a day for them, and would you believe it, the Harvey Wallbanger has its own day. I suppose he was very big as recently as the 80s or maybe even the 90s. The drink dates back to the 60s, I think. It's not a drink with a lot of credibility now. It's you get looked at funny ordering a Harvey Wallbanger in most places. It's just a screwdriver with a float of Galliano, essentially. Vodka, orange juice, and Galliano. And there's stuff you can do with that. When I was looking at various slight variations on the Galliano and other ingredients in the Harvey Wallbanger, I did see the recommendation, if you're doing Galliano, do Galliano Autentico, not the Galliano Vanilla that got distribution recently. But I just thought, you know what, I'm going to play with this a little bit. As I don't think there are any Harvey Wallbanger purists out there who are going to be upset that, oh my God, he's messing with the sacred Harvey Wallbanger. I don't think it has that sort of following. So I'm going to use the basic structure of a Harvey Wallbanger, and I'm going to do just a little bit of mixing around and make something a little different with it. First up, the vodka. And if you're going to add vodka, why limit yourself to plain vodka? You could have infused vodka. And this is an infusion that I made myself. This has been infused with a spice called sumac, which actually comes from flowers that I think native to Southeast Asia, just to the north of Australia. But it's a fairly widely available spice. It's not very spicy, it's a little bit spicy, and it's got a little bit of sort of sour taste. It's a very interesting spice, and it makes a fantastic color when you infuse a clear spirit with it, and it makes the vodka just a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to go 1.5 ounces of my sumac infused vodka. Now, the other thing I'm doing, just putting that down. That probably made a really big noise because I put it down near my microphone. Anyway, it's obviously going to make the drink a very different color because of this very red vodka. And I'm just building it in the glass because it's a very simple drink. I got my special clear ice in there. So the first thing we're adding is 1.5 ounces of the vodka. I'm also going to add 2.5 ounces of orange juice, an opportunity to use up the oranges that I've been doing peels of to make old fashions. So I'm going to squeeze this. I'm actually going to strain this before adding it to the glass. I'm really glad I did that off camera. I don't know what the story is with those oranges, but they were spraying everywhere. But anyway, I now have my 2.5 ounces of orange juice. Instead of doing a 1/2 ounce float of Galliano on the top, I thought I'd do something slightly different. I'm going to split that into two different liqueurs that I have. This one is a Spanish liqueur called Liquor 43, very vanilla herbal one. Not 100 miles removed from Galliano, but it has its own character. So I'm going to float a quarter of an ounce, 7.5 mils of this on top. Moments ago, I realized I had used exactly the wrong glass for this. So I've mixed it and swapped it, and now doing the float on top. And as I said, I'm splitting the float. The other 7.5 mils, quarter of an ounce, is going to be an Australian liqueur, Ochre Gold. If you want an idea of what this is like, if you've never had it or you can't get it, if you've tried a gentian liqueur like Suze, for instance, or even Yellow Chartreuse, it's in the same neighborhood. It's not exactly the same, but it's in that neighborhood. So this is the final touch, floating the Ochre Gold rather than mix. I do notice both of those liqueurs are actually quite heavy. I don't know if Galliano is lighter, but these don't so much float as sink. But I'm going to keep them as a layer. It's a Harvey Wallbanger of sorts. It's a sumac Harvey Wallbanger. It's my little creation. I'm going to see what it's like now. Oh, that is interesting. I didn't even try this ahead of time, and orange juice is not something you see in a lot of cocktails because it can overpower other flavors, and of course that works with vodka, which is completely neutral, or it should be anyway. But I've used flavored vodka and infused vodka, and then with two quite herbal liqueurs as well, it's created something quite interesting. I am going to mix, get my bar spoon. I was going to do it with my finger for a second because it's just for me, but that's really gauche. Who wants to see me sticking my fingers in drinks? So yeah, it certainly looks different to your average Harvey Wallbanger. See if mixing it's made a big difference. Well, yes, unsurprisingly, that's brought the liqueurs, which instead of floating, sank to the bottom, and it's brought them to the... No, it's brought them. Man, I just got those words mixed up. I feel really embarrassed. My high school English teacher, turning in her grave. She would be very upset with me. But yes, that brought those flavors forward, and I'm quite enjoying it. Yeah, I'm the type of person who would not call a screwdriver a cocktail because it's just vodka and orange juice, even though, you know, it has a name. And people can deride Harvey Wallbanger. At least it's bringing in another element rather than just the vodka and orange juice. And I don't regret this one. Splitting that float, as I said, it was a sink. So splitting that addition between two different, rather herbal liqueurs, the Liquor 43 and the Ochre Gold, it's given it a bit of character. It's, look, again, this is not going down in my notebooks as my all-time favorite cocktail, but I do like to experiment. I like something different from time to time, and hey, you know, for all the derision a Harvey Wallbanger gets, it's got longevity. It's been around for decades and probably will be for decades more. So this is my little take on a Harvey Wallbanger. I'd be interested if you have ever had a Harvey Wallbanger actually. Like I said, it's a very unfashionable drink at the moment, honestly, with pretty good reason. But, you know, had a bit of fun, mixed some things I don't normally mix, and made a quite pleasant drink. In my part of the world, we're coming into summer. Not quite there yet, but we're getting closer every day. And yeah, that little bit of orange juice in there lifts this and freshens it. And this is not bad at all. So while I'm as guilty of being a snob as anyone else, I'm not shy about this particular Harvey Wallbanger. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd be very interested if you try this or something similar. I think it's always fun to freeform a bit. Use an established recipe as a template, but play with it a bit and have a bit of fun and see what you can come up with. Often the results are less than fantastic, but often they're quite good. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to finish it off. I hope to see you again soon. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, it'd be great if you did subscribe. Maybe even tell your friends. Hit that little bell that tells you when I'm actually uploading videos, because I will be uploading heaps more. But I'm going to head off, finish off my improvised Harvey Wallbanger. And until next time, cheers.